You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub. We broadcast every Thursday at high noon on 104.5 and 106.1 from beautiful downtown Conroe, Texas. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at @the_Ticket Stub. Shoot us a message and we might shout it out in the air if one of us is paying attention. The Ticket Stub is sponsored by the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas. They're our ticket sponsor and hopefully something a little bit bigger coming down the pipe. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on any platform you are listening to the show on. I'm Chris Appel. Connor is again on one of his Aspen skiing trips, but he joins us live via satellite.
From a hotel in Aspen.
Connor, how are the slopes?
Man, the slopes are great. Actually, Chris, funny that you make that joke every time. I'm in Colorado Springs, not on a ski trip.
I'm sorry.
Ski trip, although I might try to ski a day at the end of the trip. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
But glad that technology allows us to still be together.
Yes, definitely.
That's all I care about.
Yes, and also joining us, that voice you hear is Dick, the man, the legend. Dick is here. He's back from his honeymoon.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Nuptials. It happened, huh?
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'll take care of it.
You took care of it. It's official, right?
Well, what I love now is
a
I'm
legal
sick.
deal.
That's what I love. Right when I returned to Texas, I got the crud, the allergies. Right when we landed, I was like, I don't feel good.
It's like karma. It's like, why'd you do this, man?
Why no? It's really, why'd you come back? That's really what they were saying.
Where'd you honeymoon to?
We went to Charleston, South Carolina, man.
Okay.
I had a nice random man come up to me and goes, "You know what that statue is?" And it was Calhoun, whatever his first name is, vice president at one point. And I was like, "Yeah, he was the vice president, like the third one or whatever." He's like, "No, he actually murdered 5 million African Americans." And I was like, "All right." And that was the conversation. I was like, "All right, well, we're in the right place."
Did you say good?
No, I said, "Then why aren't you burning this place down?"
Seriously, pull that statue down like they did for Saddam in Iraq, man. You got to get some rope tied around that thing.
But it's a beautiful place. I can see why they shoot a lot of Nicholas Sparks movies there. Probably the most Nicholas Sparks thing I saw was a random boat capsized like on the beach right in front of the main beach. And I'm like, you think anyone's going to come clean this up? Like, it's just randomly stranded right there.
So there's statues.
Well, they did have that hurricane.
Littering boats everywhere. It sounds beautiful.
I thought they did.
No, they missed it.
Oh,
Florence missed them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they still flood all the time, they told me. So it was a great trip. Great trip.
Sounds wonderful.
Yep.
Glad you're
I didn't see anyone famous. Sorry.
Oh, bummer.
I did meet a MLS player. That was kind of cool.
Oh,
but he's
place
not,
where famous people go, Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, dude. It's like one of the oldest cities in the United States.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, it was there when it all started.
yeah,
bro.
if you're into that.
If you're into that kind of thing, I prefer new cities. I'm a new guy.
Have you never seen a Nicholas Sparks movie?
Like
there's literally a tour. Holly goes, "Hey, do you know if we drive somewhere for 20 minutes, we'll be on those canoes in the Notebook when we go through that meadow?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, really? That is so great." No.
Let's go stare at that flipped over boat some more.
Yeah, and I go, "Do you just want me to quit you?"
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I started doing all these Notebook puns. I was like, "You want me to mistreat you like that guy did and start boinking some other girls?"
Well, what'd you say?
What a honeymoon.
What a honeymoon. No, she liked it. She liked the jokes.
Yeah, romance was alive and in the air. It's obvious.
Yeah, we did actually watch one movie.
Oh, you did?
No, we did. I watched one movie at night because I couldn't sleep. I watched Death Race.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, it was really great. Actually, it's probably one of the better movies.
We're going to have to rewind it next week.
Yeah, it actually has some serious actors in it.
Is it Nicolas Cage is in that?
No, it's Jason Statham.
That's right.
But
That's right.
the supporting cast is huge. I was very surprised. There's two.
If they don't win the race, they die or something.
They had to win 5 races to get out of jail, but no one wins 5 races.
Because they rig it or whatever.
Yeah, then I discovered there's like 4 of them. So I'm going to go down the rabbit hole for the show and watch like all 4 death races. And of course, the production value goes down further. Danny Glover's in the 4th one, so you know it's going to be good.
That's how you know it's
That's how you know it's going to be good. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do one of my rewinds is going to be all 4 of them together.
Well, cool.
Okay.
So
Productive honeymoon, man. So,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys. Actually, I
Yeah.
listened to a couple episodes because
Wow.
what was funny was Holly forgot her headset for the plane ride. So she was
Mhm.
like, "So what am I gonna do?" And I'm like, "Well, do you want to listen to an episode of Ticket Stub? Because we both like hearing my voice." And she agreed. So we
She
listened.
agreed?
She
I
agreed.
can't get my wife to agree.
I like you.
Yeah.
I like thinking about you on a plane listening to yourself. Like, that's the best way to pass the anxiety.
Well, no,
of travel.
I told you I want to make the show better. That was in our New Year's resolution. So I'm trying to listen to the two previous shows every time and try to
Good.
get our listeners going, oh, yeah, I want to listen to that because it was so good. And hopefully one of these episodes is today because we are going to have a great time today's episode.
We are going to have a great time. We've got movie news, which is the
Yet
tradition.
to be seen.
that
Yet
we-
to be seen, but hopefully so.
Yes.
Yeah, movie news. Are we hopping into it, or are you?
No, I'm doing the rundown. I got to let people know what we're doing.
Well, who's our ticket sponsor first?
Our ticket sponsor is the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're providing the tickets today.
And flash quick update for Connor over there in Aspen. Apparently they installed your recliners.
Yes,
So
that is
recliners
true.
have been installed in the Conroe.
Well, they're getting installed. It's going to be
Oh,
May
good.
before we're totally done, but the
They're
ground has
doing
been
like
broken.
one a day.
One a day. Yeah.
Well, it sounds
No,
like
it's, one side of the theater is shut down right now. And
Oh, really?
They're going to do that whole side, and then we'll shut the other side down, get it all done. Open
Does that
up
mean-
hopefully in May.
So it's your fault that Aquaman took so long to make so much money? Is it your fault?
No, we just did that today.
Hint, hint. It's in the
So
news.
is it going to be like super limited showtimes between now and then?
It is, yeah, it is. We only have 7 auditoriums right now.
Great. All right.
We still got a lot of. There's still a lot out there.
Hey, me and Lindsay went to see what movie did we go to? Maybe The Favorite or something over the break, and we sat in the recliners at the Market Street.
Mhm.
And those leather ones, you got to be Chris. You got to like get some oil on those bad boys or something, because after a while, when you
Yes.
recline, it sounded like a 1 minute fart. when I
Yes,
was
it does.
reclining.
It does. It does. Yeah. And it's that way at every movie theater that I've sat in the recliners at. Our example recliner in the lobby does not make that noise, so I'm hoping
Well,
that
because no one sits in it.
No, everybody sits in.
Well,
that
the one
thing.
thing that you just now done, Connor, is you given some poor soul the one job to go lather up all those seats before the
that's
show
right.
starts. And Chris is going to
Need
be up
somebody to
there
know that, man.
in his little box above everybody. It's like, you better clean that seat.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be oiling those down.
Dark
We
hole.
don't want to
Clean
get
that seat.
get that on people.
Is that because that one guy almost died and getting his head stuck in one?
Yeah, we got to be careful. You know.
I'll never forget
Well,
that
if you
one.
oil it up, you could slide right.
That
back
was
out.
episode, I believe, 48, if you want to check it out.
What a callback!
Yes, if you want to hear us
That's
talk about some poor soul getting his head stuck in the recliner seat at a movie theater, that's a real story.
It did happen.
All you got to do is oil up in between the two chairs or whatever. That way,
Is
I think that's
is
the
that how it works, Connor?
main point of
In
fart sound.
between
is when
the two
up.
chairs,
What?
oil it up.
What kind of oil?
Yeah, what kind of oil do you use?
Nice, a nice beaver oil.
Do you
maybe?
take a hair dryer to warm up the leather?
Oh,
to
you
warm it
you
up a
must.
little bit?
There you go.
You apply oil to
That's
a warm
good.
leather, else it won't take.
Yeah, of
I've got
course.
a leather guy I can put you in touch with, Chris, if you want.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah.
That's actually why he goes to Aspen.
Yes.
He's-
That's where his
he's-
oil dealer
He's got a
is.
leather guy.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's the code word?
Code word is chamois.
Slick.
It's slick.
All right, let's go on to the ticket stub.
Yes, we've got our group rewind this week, which is Mowgli, the Legend of the Jungle, the Netflix movie, the Andy Serkis.
So pause it
movie.
right now and go watch it if you haven't, because
Yes,
it's
please.
worth it.
So you can follow along with us. And towards the end of the show, the Golden Globes were this week, and we've got our Golden Dude has made a return. He was since the Oscars of last year, he has not been in the studio because he's been at my
Sad.
house. I won that one. So we've got the Golden Dude here with us today. And
Hey there,
that's
Golden
gonna be
Dude.
yeah.
My one regret right now is that I can't see the golden dude.
Well, we'll upgrade us one day.
Yeah.
Show the crowd real quick. It's that camera right there to your right.
This camera?
Yeah, that's that camera. Put it right there on the water.
Oh, on the
I feel like
Yes,
you're just
right
really
here.
rubbing it in right now that I can't
Right
see
here?
him.
Yeah, there he is.
Okay.
I think we should just discontinue the dude until the Oscars because it's kind of like a tease to only have him for a month.
We can do that, but
But then there's only
just
one
plan
time.
plan out the show on the show. Not bad.
Yeah,
We can
well,
do that.
it's our new format, bro.
Yeah.
We like to have production meetings on there.
But
It's better
anyway,
than our old one where we didn't have production meetings, so that's probably good.
we didn't, but we do have movie news. So Connor, you're gonna lead us through that one.
Let's do it. We just got 2 this episode because I've got one story that's a news story that's
Too busy stealing. He's skiing. He's too busy skiing. So we only have 2.
Sorry. a little windburn, so I didn't have the
He
time
doesn't
to get
listen to
everything
the
done.
podcast while he skis. He needs to.
But
Are
we've
you
got
a good
an article-
skier? Are you a good skier? I'm just curious. Are you?
Yeah, I would say I'm a good skier.
Well,
I've done it my whole life, so.
You certainly
I
do
got-
it often. So that
Do you have those? Do you have those old school skis where they put leather on there?
No, I don't have those.
Oh.
But that would be a good use for my leather guy, though.
do you have your own skis or do you rent them?
I've never bought them because I live in Texas, so it doesn't seem practical.
Oh, okay.
Seems like you're just hauling them up to Colorado all the time or whatever. I'd probably go once a year, Chris, to answer your question. So, or try to.
Oh,
That'd
okay.
be fun. But we got 2 news stories in the movie news, and then we've got one later on for the Golden Globes that'll tie in to what we're going to talk about there. The first one is from comingsoon.net, and it's talking about Aquaman and how after its 3rd weekend in theater, it has hit the #1 worldwide spot for DC movies, DC Universe, whatever,
That's not hard because they've all been pretty terrible.
Well, but Superman Dawn of Justice worldwide did $873 million. That's a lot of money. But the global total of Aquaman.
Yeah, for you.
Well, that's a good point for a peasant. The global total of Aquaman is $940 million right now. Yeah,
it could get to $1 billion. That's crazy.
Yeah, domestic is 259. So the domestic total is only the 4th out of the DC universe, but the overseas has been 681 million. So it's really it's gone crazy, overseas in the international market. And so I just thought that was interesting. Like I saw Aquaman. I don't know if either of y'all did. I was going to talk about it for just a minute. Did Chris or Dick? Did either of y'all have a chance to see that?
Nope.
No. Why would I see that movie?
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. Death Race. So you have Death Race to watch. So why go see
I have
something?
3 more.
Yeah, I would say that it was very middle of the road. Like it had some good parts. It had some okay action. I like Jason Momoa. Chris, you hate him, right?
I don't hate him. I just I'm jealous of him. Yeah, he's ripped.
Yeah, he's very strong, and they show him off definitely. Like if you are attracted to Jason Momoa, either as a man or a woman, this is the movie for you because you get a lot of shirtless, full body tattoos going on, everything like that.
Okay.
It was Amber Heard was the girl, like his little love interest girl. I didn't realize it was Amber Heard until like halfway into the movie. Maybe that's my fault. I don't know. But maybe they just had her looking a little different. It was cool. Underwater stuff. The CGI was not the greatest, I would say, with some of the underwater stuff, which always surprises me with these movies. Like, do they not have the money, to make it look as good as it could? I don't know. I mean, we're going to talk about Mowgli in a little bit. And I thought Mowgli did a really good job with the CGI, much better than Aquaman did, in my opinion. So I guess the point I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, does this represent any kind of turning for DC? The fact that this one is a little bit, it's more critically received, it seems like. It's doing well at the box office. Should we expect DC more good things to come, or what do y'all think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's always good when they're able to crank out something, that's worth watching. But I mean, isn't there a Flash movie, I think, coming out?
I hope so.
Yeah,
well,
something
there
like
was
that.
a Batman movie coming out with Buttman, but like he didn't.
Are they still doing that?
I don't think so. I think they
Buttman?
scrapped it.
You saying Buttman?
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing another. No, he's not.
Get with the industry lingo, dude. Yeah, he's considered Buttman. No, you haven't heard about that? He was directing the movie like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
and
That's what we talked
they
about.
put it on halt. They halted.
I got rid of it though, or whatever.
So.
I thought they canceled it or
Hey,
something.
Connor, who's there?
Sorry, the guy I'm sharing the room with just walked in, but he's going to be quiet, so don't worry about him.
Yeah, what's his name?
His name's Tyler.
What's up, Tyler?
Yeah.
That
What's up, Tyler?
wasn't being quiet, Tyler.
Yeah. Yeah. Shut up, Tyler.
Are you about to get started?
No, we're going. We're on the air right now. Anyways, any other thoughts about Aquaman? Does anybody care? Are we over it?
I'm over it.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's
Well, I mean,
it's
to
still
answer-
doing great.
Well, to answer your question, really, what's going to happen is they're going to try to make it. They're going to make it complicated. DC is, or like the people who own DC, WB, and they're going to say, "Hey, we did so well with Momoa being Aquaman, but does that mean we have to reset the rest of the cast?" Because Ben Affleck, I mean, it all depends if Ben Affleck returns as Batman.
Oh, Buttman?
Buttman, yeah, you're catching on. But no, like really, because that to me tells me, they're sticking with the original plan, but they're going to rewrite some of the stuff to make it more appealing, like Aquaman was.
Mhm.
But
Isn't Superman done though? Isn't
Well,
did I see that?
I mean,
Henry,
no one's
I thought-
done until they pay him, man. Have you not seen all the Marvel universes?
That's a good point.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think honestly, I think they should scrap everybody. It's not working. The whole universe really doesn't work right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what's going to happen is they're going to complicate it, and they're going to be like, all right, you did a great job. Thanks for making $900 million. We're redoing everything. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks for the 900 mil. We're gonna do it again.
I mean, I can see that.
Momoa's likable though. I can see them hanging on to him because I think he's a charismatic guy.
Well, I mean, if they were smart, they would just get over themselves and just get a new Batman. Just get a new Who cares? Like, try not to make it. Like, people might be outraged, but no one really cared that Ben Affleck was. Like, it wasn't one of, like, it might be different if Superman changed because he was actually a decent Superman.
Yeah, he was.
So I would try to keep him in there, and the Flash was somewhat interesting. So, try to keep everyone else but Batman and just, kind of lock the door on him when he tries to get into the clubhouse.
Yeah, and Wonder Woman. I mean, that's where I don't think they're not going to reset because, Gal Gadot, that was so successful.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
definitely.
Aquaman's been so successful.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Pine saved that whole movie.
Who did?
Chris Pine.
Oh, Chris Pine. Yeah,
I'm just
his World War II plane crashing or whatever.
I'm just kidding.
Pretty great. All right, let's move on. Bustle.com has an article about Replicas, the new Keanu Reeves movie, talking about how scary is Replicas, which is kind of the clickbaity title that they've got. And it just goes on to talk a little bit about the film, which, for those that don't know, Keanu Reeves, he plays this like neuroscientist who his whole family, I guess, dies in a car wreck. I'm guessing that's pretty early on because that seems to be in all the trailers and stuff. And he brings them back as like robots. And then I think there's going to get into some weird like ethics of should robots count as people and, should we treat them the same and everything like that. But the point of the article is to say that Replicas, the thing that's a little different about it versus maybe like Ex Machina, which came out a couple of years ago, which had kind of the similar idea behind it, was that this one's got some kind of scary or maybe intense or maybe kind of sci-fi fear type elements to it that some of the other movies don't have, and some maybe even some jump scares, things like that. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this movie. What do y'all think about it?
Oh, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be they're going to be doing it in a unique fashion, but it's probably going to have the standard twist ending or something like that. Because that's what's really hard with sci-fi movies these days is creating something that's so original that it branches off and creates a whole new tangent of cool sci-fi stuff. I mean, The Matrix somewhat did it because they kind of explained how this world would work, and most audiences got it. But that's kind of the hump you got to get through with sci-fi movies, understanding like the world and what's going on. And I mean, that's why people still talk about Blade Runner. Like, was she one or was she not? Or was he one? Was she not? Was he not? And things like that. And so I think he's a great actor. I think the team. One thing I have to ask though, Connor, if you don't know anything about this movie, I feel like this movie was supposed to come out like maybe 2 quarters ago. Because I've been hearing about it for about 4 years.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if it was supposed to or not. That's one of those. I may need to do a little research. Sometimes movies take a weird route to actually get to the theater, or it takes a lot longer, or sometimes they advertise for them and then they kind of go away and then come back a while later. Like almost as if they were going to release it.
Well,
whatever.
I guess what they thought is they had Keanu Reeves sign on to like his next sci-fi film. They're like, oh yeah, let's just start talking about it, and that's it. I mean, I could have sworn this movie was supposed to come out a long time ago.
As far as it being scary, I think any robot is scary.
Really?
To me, yeah.
You think Wally's scary?
It could be. Well, imagine if it just started rolling through the room right now. I would be
and
a
made
little.
all those cute little beep boop beep boop.
I'd be a little unnerved.
And
you think that robot from Rocky?
And he played some Hello Dolly. If you played some Hello Dolly, you'd be scared.
Yeah, I would be probably. Yeah.
Man, you're a wimp.
Yeah.
The real question is, what's Connor drinking?
Ooh, it's just a little Coca-Cola. That's it. Don't question me.
You and Tyler are gonna get
probably
lit.
Yeah, probably robot oil.
Yeah.
Tyler's actually my leather guy, so
You're drinking leather oil.
Everybody has to
is there some convention going on there, like a furry convention or Leatherman convention?
Yeah, my suit is just out of frame in the video,
showing off their tanned hides.
Here's I want to challenge both of you. The movie isn't Replicas is going to be different, but y'all need to go watch the movie Upgrade. Like
I've seen it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
I thought it was cool. I'm a big sci-fi fan. Like, I just like cool movies. That movie really took me all the way to the end, and I was like, cool. That was a cool movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that kind of falls into the same category, it seems like, because it's about technology and humans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it had a really cool I think the ending was interesting, and just the way they did everything, I thought was really interesting.
Well, really, the one thing hurting that movie is the actor. I believe his name is Logan Marshall Green. I think he looks like 3 other actors.
Yeah,
so that's really his issue.
Like Tom Hardy, and he looks kind of like Jonathan Rhys Myers or whatever his name is.
And he does well in most of all the movies he's been in. Like people forget he's in Prometheus, and he was really good in it. And I was like, man, it's kind of weird that he's. And so
the whole time Prometheus, you're like, is that Tom Hardy?
And then they randomly threw him in for Shocker and Spider-Man. I thought that was the most random thing. I was like, why would they show him and then not have him be a character? Because he gets killed. He's like a henchman. He's like one of the Hawk's henchmen.
Yeah.
So.
But anyways, I think Replicas is going to be cool. If you haven't seen Upgrade, you should also watch that, because if you like Replicas, I think you'll like Upgrade. They feel like they're kind of of the same cloth. So I'm really excited about that one for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Anyways, but that's kind of what's going on in movie news. Like I said, we have an article that ties in the Golden Globes a little bit later on that talks a little bit about the big moments. But let's go ahead and hop to break for a minute, and when we come back, we can start talking a little bit more about Mowgli.
Remember to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on your computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. Lone Star Community Radio, broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Welcome back to the Ticket Stub. The last segment, we talked about Aquaman making $11 billion. Connor joined us remotely from Aspen. Well, he's in Colorado Springs.
That's right. Hey, actually, I wanted to say, Tyler, who came in and interrupted the show so rudely, his brother is named Spencer, who's an avid listener of the show.
Oh, wow.
His sister-in-law is Cassie Doyle.
Okay, great.
How about that?
Pretty neat.
Yeah, she should probably get hired to write the next Aquaman.
It might help the dialogue a little bit.
Yeah. Man, wouldn't that be great?
Or she could write Mowgli, because that, I thought, could probably use a little bit of help, in my opinion.
Well, do you know who wrote Mowgli?
I know it was directed by Andy Serkis. Was it written by him as well?
There were Callie Cloves. She has never written anything else.
Really?
She was a staff assistant on Gangster Squad. And I will say it showed. It showed in this movie, guys. And
it's like she was an assistant on a bad movie, and so they let her write an entire...
I don't really know. We're going to have a little structure to this about Mowgli, which you can watch on Netflix right now. It's part of their subscription service. And let's just, if you don't mind, Connor, let me just kind of go over the facts of the show.
Do it. The facts, man. Hit the
All right,
facts.
so it's called Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. It was released in 2018 on Netflix. It is an hour and 44 minutes. December 7th was the release date. And the overall plot is a human child raised by wolves must face off against a menacing tiger named Shere Khan, as well as his own origins. It's directed by Andy Serkis, who's known as Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
And Caesar the Monkey.
And it stars all voice actors but a couple. Christian Bale plays Bagheera, Kate Blanchett, Kaa, Benedict Cumberbatch, Shere Khan, Naomi Harris, Nisha, Andy Serkis, Baloo, and then Peter Mullen as Aquila. And then the rest are just kind of random, famous
Like all
English.
people, I did not realize any of those.
Yeah, like Tom Hollander's in it, Eddie Marsan. Like these are well-known British actors, but they play like people you would never think. And then the boy, Rohan Chand, who I think we're going to comment about later into the group rewind of Mowgli. So that is the standard facts for Mowgli.
Okay.
And you want me to do like the medic score and all that crap?
Well, it's 52% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. It's 51 on Metacritic, so about the same.
Did you know that's how you spell Mowgli? I was kind of surprised about that. Throwing that out there.
Well, it's not really a question that I think
I
about.
don't know. Have you ever pondered the fact that that's how you spell Mowgli? Well, let's do this. Let's start with just overall, like, generic thoughts. What were your overall thoughts about the movie?
Well, I was fairly excited to see this because of Andy Serkis, and I'm a big fan of his work. Overall thoughts, I feel like it missed the mark, and even in the CGI aspect of it, with Planet of the Apes, it was so much better. Like the computer generated effects, it seemed like the animals, their weight wasn't right. Like when they were running around, and especially with the monkeys, which is weird because he's an expert on that. So I don't know if it was like just monetary, shortcomings with it, but I think the close up of the animals' faces was really good, but just the way they moved around and stuff, it just wasn't very realistic. Especially when Shaka Khan was, killing people.
Shere Khan.
Oh, Shere Khan. I'm sorry,
Khan.
Shaka
What are you
Khan. I
doing?
don't know.
What are you doing, son?
Well, I don't know the name, but
Shaka Khan.
yeah. So
I like how they yelled Khan so many times. It brought me back to Star Trek.
Yeah.
Star Trek
Several
2.
scenes where they would stand in a canyon and just go Khan. It also made me feel like they were calling out to me. So that was nice.
My thoughts overall, like when I made that joke about the writer, the thing that really bothered me throughout it, when you think of it as a filmmaking perspective, is a lot of scenes that connected other scenes seemed so irrelevant.
Yes.
And it was like they're only 20 seconds long, and it was almost like, hey, this movie's too short. We don't know how to connect it. We don't have enough character building, but let's just show, Mowgli talk about why, wondering why, and that's it. And I really did not like that. It took me out of the movie. I'm like, where are we going? Why are we going here? What's going on? And it didn't really connect. The overall movie was, like, to me, it was very choppy. And probably one of the biggest things that took me away from it was the fact that everything was CGI. And, it's kind of like Life of Pi. Like, one thing I really love about that story is at the end, and I want to spoil it for everyone if you can pause it and go read the book or whatever, is you don't know.
15-second skip right now if you haven't seen Life of Pi.
Yeah, so really skip, whatever. But what I liked about it was it led the reader to believe, oh, was he making this all up in his head and he gave the characters a physical form of an animal or not? And this movie tried to stick, I would imagine, really close to its roots of what, quotation, the Jungle Book was, like the story that they told before Disney got a hold of it. And it got to the point where they're trying to make it so realistic, like cleaning the baby, protecting the pack, and all these rules. Where like I started questioning other things, like why is there only one bear? And I know it sounds stupid because it's a simple story. Come on, like Baloo's a beloved character, but they're not doing Disney.
Are there bears in the jungle?
Well, that's what I don't really. I mean, like they could have explained it like, oh, he got. They could have explained a lot of the movie if they described a lot of these animals were in captivity, except just Bagheera, and that would explain why they're all in a pack because they all escaped together. Like, to me, that's what I thought they were going to go with when Bagheera started talking about he had the collar on his neck and all this kind of stuff. I was like, okay, cool, that makes a lot of sense. That's why only these animals stick together because they trust each other. But they don't explain why monkeys don't speak, why the birds don't speak, why the bugs don't speak, why the antelope they're murdering all the time don't speak. I thought it was just really strange. And that kind of bugged me throughout the whole movie because when you're doing a movie like this, you got to set rules in the fantasy world. And they're like, hey, just go along with the plot. And I was like, oh, then I don't care. Like,
do you think it was because of the other Jungle Book movie? Like they didn't want to make it too similar to the one that came out a couple years ago?
The only thing I think realistically what came from this is Netflix is going to rethink their philosophy of just handing a bunch of money to somebody and hoping it's good. Because I bet this conversation with Andy Serkis was like, we want you to make whatever you want. You're really good at motion capture. We want a good story full of CGI. We want it to be bigger than life. And he's like, oh, I've always loved, because if you don't know about the history of the Jungle Book, it's originally a story from the UK about a story from India. So it was like passed down through that. And that's why all these people are speaking British, because I bet they love the story of Mowgli. And it just kind of made me laugh. I was like, today's we're all anti-culture and all this kind of thing, or outrage culture, and then they're appropriating this story, but based off of UK people, but it's based off an Indian lore. It's just kind of weird. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. I'm going with that thought. But no, I don't. I think he tried to do what he wanted to do, and it just wasn't good. I think that's that's the end result. Some overall thoughts were the movie just didn't hit home. Like it just kind of like I would not pay any money to rent this movie at all. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't pay for it. I'm glad Netflix has Alcom, but I'm thinking about canceling because the movie sucked. But,
Well, I mean, I mentioned it on the show that I was disappointed that we didn't get this movie in the theater. And after seeing it, it makes perfect sense why it was not in the theater. I think if it was a little better and the computer effects were there and the story was there, it would have sold pretty good in the theater. theater.
Well, I wish what's going to happen with, especially with the Golden Globes conversation we're going to have later, is the blurry line between film productions, producing a film, and then selling the rights. Because I can't say for sure, and if some stubbies out there want to do some researches, did Netflix start this conversation? Or did Andy Serkis go, I got money, I'm going to make this movie because I always loved this. Is like a childhood story of mine. I love Mowgli. I want to tell it my vision. And then Netflix came around and goes, I'll buy that from you. Because a lot of stuff that's happening with Netflix, they bought it. Like, for example, like Roma is getting a lot of praise, but Netflix didn't make that movie.
Well,
They bought it from the director,
we-
from that group.
We heard about this Andy Serkis Jungle Book movie a long time ago, and I have a hard time believing that it was originally a Netflix thing.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to know that because I didn't really get why this movie was being made and what audience was it for.
I think the other Jungle Book killed it.
Yeah,
Killed the momentum of it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, let's ask Connor this. Connor, you still there?
Yeah.
You with Tyler?
Hey.
Who would you say this movie's for?
Well, that was one of my big questions the whole time watching it. Was, well, first off, I was a little confused. I have a bad memory, but I was thinking, hadn't a Jungle Book just come out like a year ago? And then I was also trying to remember the Jungle Book story, and this one like kind of seemed to apply, but didn't seem to follow it in a lot of ways. And then it was like kind of a kid's story, but then it was kind of dark. Like there would be some like kind of not graphic, but like death kill scenes that wouldn't be good for like a 8 or 9-year-old kid to watch, who's kind of where the Jungle Book is geared towards. So to me, it was kind of a tweener, like in a lot of categories where it kind of fell between the cracks. Like the action wasn't really that good, but the story wasn't really that good, and it wasn't really a kid's movie. So I don't know that it really found a place to settle in. I think that's part of why it kind of came and went. I mean, we're reviewing it now. It came out at the beginning of December. There was a lot of talk about it before it came out, but since then I haven't heard a whole lot about it. And I wonder if it's because of that. It just kind of fell flat.
Well, I mean, it's important to think of that question because Netflix is trying to create a market that's online streaming. They're kind of like the pioneers of it. But I just don't see a lot of people in a demographic that you kind of described going, oh man, have you seen the new Mowgli movie? Because typically if you're making a Mowgli movie, you go, oh, we're going to make it for parents who can take their kids to see it. And it's if it's on Netflix, I can push play and leave it, and the kid will be all right. Next thing you know, Bahoot's head's on a mount, and you're like, holy crap, that's the best friend.
Well, the very first scene was like, kind of semi-scary killing of parents and
Very
stuff.
much so.
That's the thing is, I think Netflix is trying to build this inventory that people will want to go back to and rewatch. And I just can't see anybody picking this movie if they've already seen it, or if you have, like you said, if you have kids, you're not going to put this on and walk away. So I don't know. I think it was kind of whatever they set out to do. I don't think they probably accomplished it.
So let's move on to the next point. What worked in the movie, in your opinion?
Well, I think what worked was baby Mowgli because that kid was extremely cute.
I don't know if that was CGI or not, man.
Yeah, I know. And then regular size Mowgli, he was pretty good too.
Well, what's weird is I felt a lot of the cues at certain scenes were very elementary, and like you could tell that he was being directed. You could tell, but there was other scenes that you could tell it was like, hey, bring out what acting ability. You can't ask that much for like a 9-year-old, but you could tell some of the, talking about the moves and his eyes and all that kind of stuff. You could tell he's trying to be directed. And the thing I would look at, especially in how to make a movie like this work, is you gotta let the kid do him. Because like I think, and it might not be the truth of what happened, but like for example, Home Alone. I felt like Home Alone worked really well because we were sold, and Macaulay Culkin did a really good job making me believe he's really Kevin McAllister and he's really doing all this crazy stuff. And did you see that at all in this Mowgli? Did you see him like look kind of like he didn't really know what he was doing, didn't know how he was going to move, and then he had to be told? It's like there's probably the 15th take this kid had to do to get this.
Well, a little bit. I think the kid has a lot of talent, especially in the scene where Christian Bale, the Panther, comes to Mowgli when he's in the cage at the hunter's place.
Yeah.
And the kid did some really good acting.
That was
right
good.
there, so.
But I think it was more the motion stuff that kind of threw me off. Like when you had him running and you had to direct him through the fake jungle. Of course, it's going to be challenging.
You throw this kid into a scene where 99% of his interactions are with probably like green tennis balls on the end of a stick.
Yeah.
And it's like you're really asking him. He's in a fake scenario. He's not in the jungle. He's probably in some studio.
I think we're losing.
Maybe they were on location, but even if so, it was it was he's stretching a lot to be there, and so I think when it was like kind of the one shots of just him, reacting and stuff, I think he did pretty good. To Chris's point, he's probably got some acting skills, but you really threw him in the deep end to say like, "Hey, kid, take this movie and
Well,
just like
the
hope-
responsibility falls on the director, the cinematographer, and those who are doing the storyboarding. Because a lot of the scenes, especially the physical scenes, they know they're going to have to go through this. And it's not like Andy Serkis is the first time doing motion capture. So he knows how things flow and how people, I mean, if you look at Planet of the Apes, some of that movie looked so good. And some of the scenes were like, just didn't work. And it's unfortunate that they couldn't use any real practical effects because you're dealing with all these crazy animals. But like, well, that's what kind of made Lord of the Rings work is they made some of the orcs real. They made them real things that you could touch. And when you're challenged with this idea of doing a whole 99% movie of fake stuff, it really comes down to the director having the creative mind to be able to adapt the scenes to make it flow well. Like, I think there was a scene where they're on the rock, Pride Rock or whatever you want to call that thing, where all the wolves gather, and they tell all the people to go away so they can talk to Mowgli. And in the back, you see the wolves move, and it looks so fake. It really did look like, I go, why even spend the money showing them going around the mountain? Just show them disappear, like going to the cave. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't need to add more special effects because you're going to take me out when I see something so obviously fake like that.
And I don't know what else. I'm not sure off the top of my head what else Andy Serkis has directed.
Well, he's only directed one other film, actual bona fide film.
I feel like this was on him, though. In my opinion, as I was watching, like, he's the captain of this ship. Like, you got to figure out how to make this work a little better.
I mean, you have directors who are able to take their actors and form them to their vision of what they want.
Do you think he was spread too thin?
Well, maybe
and having to do the motion capture.
They definitely were, because those scenes that were 20 seconds long were for like nothing.
Yeah.
And like, I think I counted like 6 of them. You know what I'm talking about? Like, randomly, he's in the jungle and he's playing with the leaf, and one of like Baloo or something just says something to him like, "You got to learn to fight." Okay.
Yeah. It was very fragmented.
And then that was it. And I mean, and that's one thing that just bothered me throughout the whole movie were those scenes. And like, again, as taking a step back, like, the kid wasn't bad. I think he was just directed poorly. So there's my hot take. Eat it.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis.
No, I agree. All right. Are we talking about what worked? Chris, you said the kid, right?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
No, you're wrong. No, I was kidding.
Okay, what worked? Dick, what worked for you? And if you already feel like you said,
what worked for me was when his best friend throughout the whole movie, I think his name is Bahoot, when he was murdered. I really like that scene because it took me out of like, they did it. They went for it. Because Andy Serkis was known for saying they're going to try and make it darker than Disney. And to me, that scene was completely out of place. But they did it because they wanted to be different. Because they could have, like, and if people who don't know what we're talking about, there's a scene where Mowgli visits the humans. He's staying with the humans. He's been casted out. And throughout previously, there's been different scenes with him and this white albino wolf who's like the run of the litter. Everyone makes fun of him, just like Mowgli. And they have a friendship. And unfortunately, the last thing Mowgli said to him is, "You don't care. You don't matter." Because he doesn't matter. He's just projecting. Well, in the scene, he's visiting, the hunter lets him into his house. And there's a scene of like all these dead animals, these taxidermy and all this kind of stuff. And then randomly, you see Bahoot smiling. Just like, like dead, mounted, like, like that. And I go, whoa. Why are they showing this? Because I know they're trying to invoke the feeling of, Mowgli needs to realize some people are bad too. But he could have easily have done it by showing like every creature that his friends look like are being mounted. It's like
that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to go like he's going to have a dead bear and a dead snake and a dead jaguar. But instead, he just killed his little pale friend.
Well, because I feel like there's a couple scenes that weren't filmed because one of the things that I thought worked horribly for the film was having Cate Blanchett narrate it.
Well, it was very Lord of the Rings.
I mean, it was horrible. I was like, why would you even try to do that?
Well, it worked in Lord of the Rings.
No, like, it worked then. It's not going to work again.
The same people.
Well, because the reason I bring that up is one of the narration lines at the end was trying to saying, like, playing off how bad Shere Khan was for the jungle and how bad the hunter guy was bad for the people, and how with them gone, the leader of Mowgli can, like, the jungle has a voice. And I think they cut out a lot of scenes showing the hunter really being a bad dude, because you didn't really know he was a bad dude until right when you saw Bahoot or Hoot or whatever. Just his face was smiling, I swear. And if I find a picture, I want to show it to the audience. Like, it is a crazy. I started laughing because I was like, oh my God, that's his friend. And he's
But that's
smiling.
like a dude, like he's just a hunter, like he hunted.
Yeah.
He killed. Yeah. So that part was it felt rushed, the whole
I
hunter.
felt that part, but that made the movie for me. That worked really well for me. I love movies. I just go for it. And just, especially if it's so sad. I love sad things in movies.
There was a really good scene where Mowgli was underwater and Shaka Khan's like looking at him over the water, and he just like staring at him. That was a really good scene.
That was another 20-second scene that really I was like, is this gonna go somewhere? And it kind of did, and then it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, for me, what worked, I liked that it was a little bit different than the original story. While I did say that was kind of distracting, and it kind of was, I appreciate that they at least tried to do something different. They didn't just tell the story that we've all heard about the Jungle Book before. And I don't know how much of that changed. And maybe part of why it felt so weird, maybe the other Jungle Book movie came out, and so maybe they came and tried to recut it together to tell a different story. I don't know what, but at least it wasn't the exact same thing that we've seen before several times. The thing that didn't work, let's move to what didn't work for me or for each of us. Chris, you said Cate Blanchett narrating. For me, it was just the entire ending, which is probably bad if you feel like the entire end doesn't work. But, it's like...
Well, that was my favorite part, honestly.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, it was really unrealistic.
Hold on, let me ask y'all something real quick. While you're watching it, did Netflix have pop-up saying, like, watch that scene again?
No.
Mine kept doing that, and I was like, I'm not dare touching that thing because I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want to see that scene again. It happened at, like, pretty much every pivotal moment where... Shere Khan almost kills somebody or someone's running through the forest.
Were you watching it on your phone?
No, I was watching on my TV.
Oh, wow.
On a Fire Stick.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I just feel like the ending, it all built to this, like, kind of ridiculous, this whole, like, we're supposed to accept. I know the whole plot is ridiculous, like wolves raise a boy in the jungle or whatever, but, like, as if, like, he is the one who's going to unite the people and the animals in a way that's never happened before. And the whole, like, first off, fighting a tiger, like tigers are huge. Have you ever like seen a tiger at the zoo or anything? Mm-hmm. They're like way bigger than lions, way bigger than people.
I think that's why they had to throw in the elephants. Because if you're
one, 2 times.
Well, if at the end of the movie, Mowgli comes up with a plan and he asks the pack to basically help him out, and they said no, so he got the elephants to help him, and that's where it kind of confused me. I was like, if the elephants are going to help him, just have the elephants just crush him.
Yeah, why didn't they just kill him too?
Yeah,
also?
and because I don't think Mowgli was trying to be the leader of the pack. I don't think that was his overall goal. I think he realized that the jungle needed to get rid of both these dudes. He, because he kind of kept remembering Kaa's reminder, like, you're going to find your purpose in this jungle. I think he realized Shaka Khan, your buddy, Shere Khan, had to die. And I think he realized the other hunter had to die.
I don't know that he meant to kill the other hunter. I mean,
no, I think he purposely did. I think he goes, "I'll trade you." You remember when he gave that husk
he
to him?
didn't die. He was still rolling around.
I was hoping for when the elephants came back, he was dangling on one of the on the husk, and he was just awkwardly in the background, just going, "Oh, I'm dying," like that. That would have been. I mean, you're showing the best friend's head mounted. Might as well just go for the gruesome here.
Yeah.
But
Chris, what didn't work for you, Chris?
What didn't work? Well, I mean, I mentioned it in the beginning. The computer generated effects with the weight of the animals and how they move was a little more cartoony to what traditionally Andy Serkis has done in the past, where it's been very realistic. I didn't feel like this was, anywhere near what his normal standard is, which is, having said that, this is still way better than what most people would be able to do.
Yeah,
it's just not to the. I was expecting to be blown away by the effects, and I really wasn't.
It was for sure better than Aquaman. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's a low bar. But is there any specific scenes we mentioned a lot? Is there any other specific scenes we need to throw out there? I've got one. Let me throw the hunter when Mowgli's living in the human village, and the hunter is sitting around the fire with like the tribes people or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's this really weird scene that I don't understand why. Like, I guess it mentioned the elephant. That was the purpose. But all these like hunters or all these tribesmen are sitting around like mean mugging this hunter guy who I guess is just getting drunk, going like, "Are you a good hunter?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm the best." They're like, "Do you ever miss?" And he's like, "Once." And they're like, "Will you ever miss again?" And he's like, "Never." And I mean, like, what?
Connor,
so
you're
strange.
forgetting one of the funniest things about that scene is like, what did you miss? And he said an elephant, and I thought he was joking, because like, how the hell do you miss an elephant? And I really thought that was a legitimate joke. And then, of course, I'm not kidding you. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. Like, he's drunk and he's making a joke to these people. But I I think the purpose of that scene was to show that they didn't agree with his ways. That, like, the tribes people just did not agree with it because they probably they love the cows. That's mentioned several times. And then
Yeah, okay. So it was about them not liking him hunting, but they brought him to hunt.
Well, I
right?
think they just don't like his principle. His principle of, like, he's okay with killing elephants, which I think in their tribe they probably weren't. They're more about life, but they don't give a crap about tigers, like zero crap about tigers. And I think that's really what confused me about this movie. Is I know there's a history to it. I know there's a lot of themes and about self-identification, all those wonderful things. But this movie doesn't fit in today's world when we're trying to be PC and stuff like that. It just doesn't.
Well, I think the whole principle. I thought the whole principle was like it doesn't matter who you are. You could be anything. Are you
Yeah, but as long as your pack's okay with it. Like, I mean, like,
yeah,
because
but then they accept it.
well, I mean, they went on this whole scene about the pack, and they literally kicked out Mowgli. They kicked him out, and he had every right to say, "Hey, you kicked me out. I'm staying here, bro." Like to his brother or whatever. And I get that, but then it's like, it's okay to kill these animals, but these other animals it's not okay to kill. And then, like, I don't know. I felt really weird about some conservation kind of. I don't think it was that deep. But the fact that they try to do the cow is sacred, and then Shao Kahn is trying to develop a plan by killing the cows and leaving them by the wolves thing. That didn't play out. But you know what I'm talking about? Like, they should have selected one thing, just went for it instead of trying to make it easy for everyone. Because Mowgli should have just killed everybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it was probably the traditional Jungle Book story, and then they had that other movie come out, and they had to rewrite this entire thing.
And they didn't want to seem like buttholes.
Yeah, I think so.
What was let's keep it rolling here. What was the least realistic part of the movie for y'all? Or have you already, Chris, for you?
The monkey thing.
The whole movie? No.
When the monkeys grabbed him.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it was strange to me, and if I missed this, explain it to me. The monkeys were working for Shere Khan. So why didn't the monkeys just grab him at the very beginning when that one little monkey? Because that one little monkey I thought was his friend, and then we saw him like hissing in his face and like throwing. I'm like, oh, so he's just a monkey, which they don't have eyes, they don't talk, they're just mean creatures in this world. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And bait and switch.
Yeah, but like they brought Shere Khan to him.
Yeah.
So why didn't they do it at the very beginning?
Maybe Shere Khan hadn't gotten to him yet or something. I don't know.
Well, isn't there a whole scene in the Jungle Book about a big orange orangutan, or is that just Disney?
I thought they were taking him to in King Louis or whatever, right? I thought they were taking him to that guy. I was very confused when Shere Khan showed up.
Well, and it also confused me that the anaconda came and saved him, and then she did this mysterious thing where it's like, oh, you have a place, and then that was the end of the snake. Like,
yeah, because the anaconda was a bad guy in the original movie.
That's what I thought too in the original story. But
the part for me that was least realistic was any scene where he was running with wolves and was like kind of keeping up. There was this whole plot line about how he had to like be able to run faster than the panther on legs.
Connor, I honestly thought there was going to be a Forrest Gump scene in there where he's running on all fours, and then you realize I'm not a wolf, I'm a human, and so he starts running like a human.
Yeah.
I was like waiting for it, like he's gonna break those shackles of those leg braces, and he's gonna like jump to trees, and he's gonna embrace his body, but no.
Oh my word!
Well, he kind of does there at the end. He gets into his parkour as he cheats the real race. But I love the fact that there would be like a good 15 or 20 seconds where he was running as fast as the wolves on all fours. Like I think that they would be gone instantly. They would be 100 yards ahead of him. Probably.
I saw a video of a guy one time that somebody just took from the road, and there was a guy running like that on the side of the road, and he was pretty fast, and I don't think it was fake.
Well, maybe I'm wrong.
Let's take some liberties here. I know we were talking about the least realistic, and we got most distracting and stuff, but what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think would have made this movie better? Like, I don't.
What would have made it better if there wasn't another one that had come out? I think they were really handicapped by that.
Yeah,
I really do. I think it would have been great. I mean, you have one of the greatest talents ever in computer generated effects. I mean, he should have been able to make the greatest movie ever.
I mean, well, I think really what I thought they should have done better is stick to a plot point and a theme. Yeah. That you had so many neat characters that had a lot of representation and like their different beliefs in the pack, and you had the hunter and the Shere Khan. Like, they didn't really show how they were similar. They should have showed more similarities between the hunter and the Shere Khan. Like, maybe show them how they each kill the same way, like with their dagger or something like that. Showing they're for the hunt. They're not for the circle of life. But I think it was an uphill battle making this movie. It had to have been, because you have no idea like who's the audience for. And I mean, the fact that they killed Bahoot or whatever, that was one of the craziest movies I've ever seen in cinema. I was like, why? Like, you did not have to kill probably the most beloved character outside Mowgli.
See, but I think that falls on Andy Serkis again. Like, that's his. Like, if it's not coherent, if it's not making sense, that's his fault. I mean, he's the one that's got to bring all that together. I'm not trying to be like a pile-on or anything like that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of risks. Like, what risks did Mowgli have to take to get where he was at the end? And the risk was he had to kill Shere Khan. And what was weird is all of a sudden, Mowgli became this conniving killer at the end. Like, he figured out this whole plan, and I was like, why? How did this stop? Like, where did the light switch? And he goes, oh, I got a plan. But I feel like that could have been done a long time ago. And I didn't really get the whole pack thing, like why they wouldn't kill Shere Khan. Did you get that?
I guess there was some law. I don't know.
But what law is there? Because Shere Khan clearly doesn't care about the law.
Yeah, I don't know. I say let's rate this thing, and then let's go to break, because we've talked. I think we've talked it pretty sufficiently. Chris, 1 to 10, what would you give this movie?
I'm gonna give it a 5. I think.
Okay, fair enough. Dick, what about you?
I'm gonna give it a 5, and that 5 is, I stamp it as it's a movie.
Oh, okay. 5 means it's a movie. I said 5.5, so I'm the most generous out of all of you. And I would say, yeah, it's just on the other side of mediocre, but really left a lot to be desired.
Well, I think really, especially for our listeners who watched it with us, we'd love to hear what your thoughts on it are.
And sure.
Well, because leaving this movie, I really wish someone had explained to me, like, oh, I'm definitely going to show my kids this. Or I'm definitely going to study this movie in motion capture film school kind of thing. Like, I want to learn the techniques. Because I really did not see a positive, like a true positive to this movie. Like, if somebody thinks it's their favorite movie of all time for 2018, do you think there's at least one person who, like, loved this movie?
Probably like a 9 or 10-year-old, maybe.
You think so?
Well, they probably felt that they were watching adult stuff.
You think this movie was kind of one of those, like, oh, you're watching an adult movie?
I do. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, especially when your best friend's head is just sitting there.
Yeah. Well, the end.
Well, did he even like him? I didn't really get that.
Yeah, I think so. They played it for
Well, I think it's just because he was part of the pack. It wasn't like they were best friends.
Well, that kid said you're my best friend.
Well, the kid said it, but Mowgli never said it.
Mowgli's a jerk, so.
Well, so I was trying. I really was, because I go, you think he would say it back, like, you're my best friend too. But he doesn't. Like, I feel like he's just like, oh, some annoying kid that, unfortunately we're all different. And you know what Holly tried to tell me? Holly tried to tell me in the movie what they were trying to tell us with the hunter killing him is maybe Bahoot wasn't special in his pack, but he was special to the hunter because he wanted an albino wolf. And I was like, I don't think that was the purpose of that. I don't think they were trying to show that
he's giving him too much credit.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think he was really. There's a place for every one of us. Is that what the movie's trying to tell us? And that place happened to be a head on a wall. So thank you, Holly, for that commentary.
All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we could talk a little. What, Chris? What are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about the Golden Globes, and we're going to give the Golden Dude to the winner of the Golden Globes ballot challenge that we had. So stick with us on the Ticket Stub.
A Lone Star Community Radio is ready for the summer. If you or anyone you know is looking for summer internship opportunities, a Lone Star Community Radio is a great place to grab the mic and be on the air. A Lone Star Community Radio offers a great opportunity to those interested in learning about the radio world all year round. Be an on-air personality, talk show producer, or YouTube, TV, podcast editor. Contact the station at info@irlonestar.com or call the station's message line at 936-647-3776.
Welcome back to the Ticket Stub. In our last segment, we rewound the movie Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. We all pretty much hated it. So if you feel like checking that out, you can. It's time for our grand ticket giveaway. And we did have a winner last week, and his name, and I have it written down here, is I don't have a name. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Well, no,
I thought I could do it, but I can't.
Well, his name was inappropriate.
Yes, it
and
was.
he still won, so we're gonna contact him. It was just, let's say it's Stephen J. And I don't. Well, I don't know. I don't know if he was trying to do one of those play-on deals, and I don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
So we will remind listeners the way to win is all you got to do is contact us through any of our social media. That's Twitter, Facebook. Call in 936-647-3776. And we basically put your name in the weekly drawing for it. So if you didn't win this week, you're still entered. So you don't have to keep texting us or doing whatever. You just do it once. Mm-hmm. And if when you win, you'll be re-entered in about a month or two. So you're stuck with us for life if you just enter one time. But Stephen J., we'll be reaching out to you because we know how you mentioned us or message us and stuff like that. So, but we won't say your last name because I don't want to.
Because we're not sure if it's a joke or not.
Yeah, I don't want to be a Bart Simpson kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So, all right, Aspen Boy, we got 10 minutes. Let's do Golden Globes. Who won?
Did you watch it?
I watched the very beginning.
It was the most boring Golden Globes I've ever seen. Well, I watch it every year.
I mean, have you seen the movies that were up for winning?
Yeah,
they were horrible.
It was a challenging year for the Golden Globes. The hosts were not that great. I think if they had...
I did like how they just said straight out, hey, we're not going to get political. Like, at least
I did like that. Yeah, I certainly liked that.
Because that kind of made me want to watch it more, but I was on my honeymoon, so...
You were busy.
I couldn't. I was busy.
It was cool to see Carol Burnett and cool to see Dick Van Dyke. That was neat. And Jeff Bridges got the Lifetime Achievement Award, and that was neat, and he had a great speech.
I like how they ended it with, was that Surf's Up?
That
animation movie he was in? That was
yeah.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But the weird thing was to me is I know we have the ballot, and we're going to talk about who won and who got the Golden Dude, because I kind of unfortunately limited myself due to being gone, being married, and all that kind of stuff, because I was unable to fill out a simple form. But I will.
It takes a long time to fill out a paper. It's really hard.
I kept looking at it, trying to think about what I wanted to win and things like that. And I'm surprised by the lack of. I don't know if I'm just not liking movies that are in the theater who are up for these. Like some of these movies, I had zero interest in seeing. I would say about 30% of all the movies represented at the Golden Globes, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that movie. But the rest were like zero. What were your thoughts on that, Connor? If you had to like do a percentage, what are your interests in seeing all those movies? And how many did you actually end up seeing?
That's what I was kind of starting to circle them. I saw most of them. A few of them are kind of new, and I just haven't gotten to them yet. But I probably saw about 60%, maybe 70% of the movies that were up for something. And I just think in general this year has been kind of weak. I mean, if I'm just looking at it from the outside in, like what really stood out and things like that. The movies that they propped up as the big award movies, most of them have been pretty soft in my opinion. So, it's no surprise to me that when they do these award shows, they're not. I mean, I think the Oscars is going to have the same problem. It's just going to kind of be blah because the movies this year were kind of that way.
What weirds me out about award ceremonies, and Chris, you know a lot about a lot of the award ceremonies. You're a really big fan. Like the one thing that weirds me out, for example, I kind of look at the numbers or like kind of like the patterns in it. So, for example, Roma went away with two of the biggest awards: Best Director and Best Movie. But it's like none of the actors and actresses were nominated. I think maybe one of them maybe nominated. I think the screenplay. I think that was it. That was the only other thing that it was up for. Like none of the actors were up, and that weirds me out. That if you have a movie that you're wanting to vote on and you vote for Best Director, Best Movie, and not even nominated are the actors and actresses.
Well, I think that it goes against the traditional pattern, yes. But I kind of like that because there was no like sure thing. Like we thought The Star Is Born was going to win, Best Actress and Best Picture and all that, and it didn't get anything but song, and that was very surprising.
I mean, that was probably
that's a travesty, by the way. That's an absolute travesty.
Well, no, you saw Bohemian Rhapsody, correct?
I did not, no.
Okay, so we need you to go see it because you saw A Star Is Born, and we know you download all the tracks, and we know you do it on replay. So I want to know, like, I don't know if this movie, like, it's like weirded me out because, like, for example, this morning we kind of chat about why is that not considered a musical?
Well, Star is Born is nominated in that same category, Best Motion Picture Drama as well, and that's a musical too.
Like, to me, that's a musical. Because if you're saying The Martian is a stupid comedy film, then like your barometer thing or whatever has got to go towards musical on both of those movies. And that's one thing I think what's going to end up happening, like what Chris said, it's just so boring. This is going to lose so much steam. And I don't know what they're going to my theory is the next 2 to 5 years they're going to start incorporating like the Avenger movies and things like that. Because
the Oscars already hasn't it?
They did, yeah.
So they got to like not just special effects.
No, it's like a biggest box office movie or something. It's like
Well,
best.
see, again, that they're not even. I'm talking about best actor. Chris Hemsworth as Thor.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't
that
know.
kind of
maybe,
no.
Well, I meant more of like I'm not saying he should get.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that's the next move they're gonna make. Because like for example, like think about The Dark Knight. Say that movie came out this year. Gary Oldman, I could see being best supported. I think he was nominated. I think he might have been nominated for it.
He was great in that.
But like the only person I can think of that had any type of encroachment on the Oscars besides the special effects was Heath Ledger, and he got a pity vote because he passed away.
Yeah.
Even though that was the role of that year.
Mhm.
That should, I mean, if he was still alive, I'd be interested to see what the Oscars would decide on that one. But does that make sense to you? Like looking at the numbers and looking at the people.
Oh, it's all about entertainment. It's all about making money, and I think this is one of those venues that did not do that this year, and I think they're probably going to look hard at it next year for sure.
Well, I mean, especially with entertainment on viewership, I think they should pay Ricky Gervais as much money every year.
Oh, I agree.
Because he guides you through it, and it's entertaining. And then, like even if you did something like he would totally make a joke about Bohemian Rhapsody, he would.
Mhm.
So because he's English,
It would be nice if he hosted the Oscars. It'd be nice if he did that.
Yeah,
Do they have a host yet, Chris, for the Oscars?
What's that?
Does the Oscars have a host yet?
They do not. I put my hat in the ring. I tweeted them. I tweeted the Academy, and I tweeted the Oscars 2019, and they have not gotten back to me yet.
Well, that's a surprise.
But I am available, and I told them I'd do it for the standard $15,000 too. So I'm not
Chris.
asking too much, but that's the standard pay to do that. So.
Yeah. Chris, was there a lot of playing people off the stage in the Globes?
There was a little bit. Most of the time, those guys ignored that. They just kept talking, and
I like it when
shut the
Howard
music
Greer.
off.
I like it when they just don't care.
Yeah.
They just keep going.
Well, I kind of want to let people know about before we go into the results and who wins the Golden Dudes. Talk about the Oscars for a little bit and do a little time frame for folks. So on Monday, the 22nd, or Tuesday, January 22nd, nominations will be announced, and then the voting will go all the way through. And then the presentation for the 91st Annual Academy Awards is on February 24th. So basically, we'll find out on the 22nd of this month, and then we'll start talking about the movies and see who wins, and then the Golden Dude will be given to me.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
and
When
because
they
you
the Oscar noms, I'll go see like some of these movies like Bohemian Rhapsody will probably get like re-released or put streaming. That's what I'm gonna try and catch some of them. So
yeah, they'll definitely be re-released in theaters. Some of the nominees. Well, not the nominees, but the winners will be most likely.
yeah, but sometimes they release the nominees leading up to it though.
I don't believe they did that last year. At least not. We didn't get it, but we did get the winners. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know some of the streaming services now are starting to make them available.
Okay.
When at the point of nomination, because that's how I was able to catch up on some of, especially like documentaries and stuff. Best doc and all
Yeah,
that.
because
Kind
Connor's a really big documentary fan.
Hey, I'm a smart guy. Smart people watch
Yeah.
documentaries.
Have you seen that documentary about leatherworking in Colorado Springs?
I actually consulted on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, who won the ballot, man?
All right, so Dick has forfeited this year. He was sick. He didn't.
I
get a
got
chance to
married.
do it. He got married. He was very busy.
My chances of winning just greatly increased. All right.
They did. Okay, so anyway, so it's between Connor and myself, and
There
Connor.
was 25 categories, right?
There was. I don't know how many there was. We'll go with that.
25 categories.
25 categories. Connor got 8 right, which is
9.
You got 9 right?
Yeah, dude.
I'm not counting. Are you sure?
I
Better count
wrote
that
9
again.
on
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
6,
Steve Harvey's
7,
about to happen.
8.
Steve Harvey.
I count. Oh yeah, I do count 9. Okay.
The very bottom.
Yes,
you check.
I see that.
Were the envelopes tampered with?
His looks really crinkled up, so I think it's legit.
Yeah.
And mine is crinkled
matter?
up too. So
Does 8 or not matter? You probably got like 20, so it doesn't matter.
no. So Connor's got 9 and I got 8, so he gets the golden dude. He wins the
Hey,
golden dude.
hey,
I thought we
Connor.
were tied.
Connor, why
So
don't you check outside your door?
we got a
Where?
A solid 9-incher
Check outside my door.
statue out there for you.
We got a solid 9-inch outside there.
9-inch statue for you out there. For you and Tyler, and you can enjoy it for the rest of the night.
Guys, I prepared a speech just in case this happened. The Golden Dude is the one thing I've wanted since I was a young boy. Is there some music I can play in the background or anything to really make this more special? I thought I did terrible. 9 out of 25 seemed like it wasn't enough, but when you follow your dreams, you'll achieve great things. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You know what? I'm really glad you won because I'm going to be tasting those sweet tears of separation when I take it from you. And
Separation anxiety.
just like Shere Khan took Mowgli's parents away from him,
I'm
gonna come in, murder those parents, and have a limp for the rest of the movie, which was unexplained.
Yeah, I didn't get to live. Oh well.
I'm telling you.
All right.
I'm
What are
telling
we
you,
doing next week? Are we having a normal show next week?
Man, normal show next week. We're gonna announce if it's live or not on Thursday at a normal time. But the movie I'm gonna watch is I just forgot the name. It's it has, help me out now. Jamie Foxx,
Kevin Spacey.
Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler. Something Citizen.
What down?
Law-abiding citizen.
Law-abiding Citizen. Yeah.
That's right.
So I'm gonna do that movie, or if I have time, I've been trying to hound down all the death races, which I'm telling you
Death Race 2 through 4.
Okay, look, so Death Race 2, Death Race 3 Inferno, and then of course the most recently one released this year, I kid you not, Death Race Beyond Anarchy.
Well, I'm going to be rewinding Bird Box.
Oh yes, the legendary movie now. It's
Legend, wait for it, Dairy. That's right. Chris, what about you?
Man, I got to tell you, I'm going to have to pick something at another time. I've been so busy going nonstop at the theater with many different projects, and I will have something next week, and it will be probably pretty
That's
stupid.
a year to cut half your theater down. I hate to bring it up, but
No, it was just today that we
Okay,
did it.
okay.
So
So
we
you got
made
the
it through the holidays. We had all 14 screens going, but it was a long haul. The Christmas season is a difficult time for me, or challenging time. So I'm kind of recovering, and I'll have something very stupid to rewind next week. I'm pretty sure.
Good. Something
We'll make sure to put that on our Facebook event page where we're going to be posting all of our upcoming shows and our replays and things like that. Today's show is brought to you by Amstar Cinema, probably the second coolest place to watch movies, besides, of course, the best place to watch movies, the Grand Theater over here in Conroe, and also the other Grand Theaters around the country.
All Grand Theaters.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I got to go hit the nice slopes, man.
All right, see you later, dude. Don't forget, don't overheat the leather.
Never overheat the leather. Those are words to live by.
All right.
Words to live by. Chris, wrap us up, man.
I'll wrap us up.
Oh, okay.
Or Connor, or not Connor, this guy in front of me. You want to wrap it up?
Sure.
Chris?
Well, thanks for joining us here on the Ticket Stub this week. It's been quite an exciting one. I'm very glad to be back with you guys.
Connor just got up and left.
He just got up and left. He's out.
Oh,
He's got to grab
I
that.
can see into his room. I'm just kidding. I got rid of it.
He's got to go grab that golden dude.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. All right, Connor. Connor, see you later. You're a nice guy. You can keep exiting.
Yeah.
Where are we? Where can people find us?
We are on Facebook. So look us up on Facebook, the Ticket Stub Podcast, or on Twitter at @_Ticket Stub, and any podcast platform. We are also available on there. So
yeah, so if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, right above us, I'm pointing to it, has all of our contact info. So very convenient. Or you can visit us online at irlonestar.com/TTS for the Ticket Stub.
we'll see you next week.
Later, guys.